We have a 20th edition of the Wagner Memorial, and taking the opportunity of this tournament, we have a pleasure and a chance to host Mr. Nikola Grbić, head coach of Polish national team. Hello, coach.
Hello.
Do you know what Lang Ping, Karchem Kiralym, and you may have in common in 1 year?
Probably we are the only one who, I don't know, won the Olympics and then become the coaches of the Olympic team. I don't know.
Almost. The ones who won a gold as a player and gold as a coach.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's,
sure.
yeah, wishful thinking.
Yeah, exactly. But I would like to start a little bit about the history, actually, and the tournament in 2000 in Sydney. You were a pretty young team, I think, at that time with the coach Grbić. First 2 losses at the beginning of the tournament, and then you went out from the group. You played the quarterfinal, famous quarterfinal against Netherlands, and you won in tiebreak 17-15. After that game, you won semifinal and final 3-0.
Yeah.
So it seemed like the quarterfinal was the crucial moment of the tournament. What are your memories from that tournament, and what was most important for you as a team to win a gold medal?
Well, I think that game was like really the thing that make us like believe we can win in the end, because we were risking, we were down in tiebreak, and in the end sometimes happens that when you go out of that kind of difficult situation in that way, then it's easier then to have next challenge, because you already went through a really tough situation. And if you remember, it happened the same, maybe not 3-0, but France also was there not even to qualify to the quarterfinals, and then miraculously they won the last game 3-2, that made them go to the quarterfinals, and then they won in the really tough game against Poland, again 3-2, and then they were, I think mentally they were also ready to play that kind of game. So I think in a way that Russia and Italy at the time was stronger than Holland, but we went through really tough situation, and we were losing. And when you come back from that type of game, then it's later it becomes you have like antibodies for that kind of situation.
You seem to always underline that you like to put players in difficult positions.
Yeah.
This is because you went through such ones in the Olympics?
Not only Olympics. I think it's the job of the coach is to prepare your team to what is going to be when the tough times come. And if you don't do that in the practice every day, how can you prepare them? It's not enough then to go one day before of the important game and then just, give them the pill and that's it. I mean, they have to go through that situations every single day in order to get prepared, and that when they're doing it daily, then they will get used to resolve so many situations. And when the game comes that there is in or out, they would already do that kind of situations for so many times, and then they will be ready. So my goal is always to try to push them even further and even more than they will maybe have in the game, because then if I'm practicing every day like I'm full speed, then maybe game is not always at full speed, because then maybe you will not play, your opponent will not play as good as you, so it gets easier. So that's why I think it's always better not to go easy, because we don't have to. And then when the tough team comes and the tough time comes, then you are, what is going on? So then you will not even be able to do what you're usually doing. So this is what I think it's important to prepare every day for the toughest situation that I already have in my mind, that I lived as a player and as a coach, and that mainly my players already went through so many times. So then it's easier to understand also the mentality, because if they will know that how they felt when we were playing the finals in Gdańsk, for example. So they know what we did before that in order to come and be like that before. So that's my approach.
Before I come back to that, I just would like to ask, taking the chance of the memorial of Wagner, to ask about the style of coaching that has changed over the years. In Poland, there were even movies about Coach Wagner, who was a pretty tough coach. The camps were very difficult in terms of physical preparation, running. They had to do weightlifting. And I think the coach that helped you win the Olympics was Grbić, who also we remember in Poland as a little bit old school. Did coaching have to evolve throughout the years because the players also changed?
Everything changed. Up to 2000, practically we played 1999 was the last game we played, and it was the qualification for the European tournament. We played with the side out. Then the regulation changed, and then we started with the tiebreak, that every single point or action means the point. So the games were shorter, so you had to preparation changed a bit, because up to that point you never knew how much long the game can go. It can go forever, and so the preparation should have been like has been really long, and we had the practices for 3 hours, maybe not so intense, but it just changed. And then the attack got stronger, and then they changed the regulation that if the ball on the service touches the net, it's not the error.
Yeah.
So then obviously everybody starts serving stronger. So as I said, as it was evolving, the regulations about points making and scoring, as it changed of the calendar, because tournaments changed. For example, in 1998, we played a World Championship where we played 12 games in 17 days. So we would play 3 days in a row. We would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to take a train in Japan to go on another island. And then we would play another 2 days. And then again, the day after, which should be a day off, but it's not day off. It's just you don't play the game. You just have to transfer to another place where it's 2 or 3 hours with the train. And then you have the practice in the afternoon. And then the day after you play, and you play 3 days in a row. And obviously during that time, we never did the weights, not once, because preparation was different.
Yeah.
So and then that was the first time libero was introduced. So it's changing all the time. And right now, I think all strong teams have very similar conditions to work, meaning all of us meaning Italian national team, Japan national team, Brazil, US, everybody. They have 3 courts. They have data volley system for computers or volley station or whatever it is. They have fitness coach. They have 2 physios, 1 doctor,
Good
2
place
assistants, 1 coach. They have great equipment. Everybody has baskets, tables for blocking, blockers, machines, infinite amount of balls, Taraflex all the time. Good players, because every single one of those teams that I mentioned has at least 8 or 9 good players who are playing in the strongest clubs in the world. So more or less we are all there. And the next thing that will, I think, make a difference is the mental and emotional preparation for such a stressful events. So because now, as you can see, 1 or 2 balls can decide the winner of the set or in the end of the match. So it's how you can handle that type of difficulty. It's not only how much you can last physically, but it's also how you're handling the stress. So obviously you have to evolve, you have to change, you have to adapt, you have to see, and it's not possible because now, not possible always to get it right, because now you have the teams who are playing the Champions League final. They get like almost a month of the games and practices more than the guys who are finishing playoffs earlier. And then in the end, these guys has to play together for the VNL, if you know what I mean. So one, you have to give like enough time to rest. Other guy who will have more rest can start earlier, and then so it's you have to adapt to many difficult and different situations between them. But it's as I said, as long as it is the same for everybody, for me it's okay. I mean, if everybody has the same like demand or a calendar is the same for everybody, okay.
So coming back to current times, you mentioned a lot in the previous answers about training. Now you have a group of 14 players who everyone is a world star. Did you ever see a bigger quality during the training in terms of personal quality? And second thing, is even such good training ever able to be better than a game with even a worse opponent? So,
of course, we are having better training and better 6-on-6 drills that we have against the majority of our opponents, because as you said, we have players who play the finals of the Champions League and they are not starters or they are not playing. It's not because they are not good enough, it's just we have plenty of them, and it's really a great thing to have a choice of that, so many good players where I mean, them also telling me, well, they were preoccupied because it's like, well, you know, I'm not in the shape, because in order to put the ball on the ground against, you know, my teammates, it's really difficult because we are playing good defense, we are playing good this and that. For me, that's the best thing, because if you surround yourself with better than you or your equals, you will always push yourself to be better, and you will be amongst the guys who are really, really good, and you will be one of them. If you are with guys who are not practicing good, they don't have quality good enough, the quality of the practice goes down, and then you will be one of those guys again. So the great thing is that we have really a great environment and so many players that are of equal, really, really high, a really good quality that can give us great practice opportunities where we can really, really work hard, and we can, for example, the other day we did one very intensive exercise where I would just throw the balls inside. As soon as the action finishes, it goes another ball, and it's really intensive. And let's say it should be in the easy, it's intensive, but it's easy ball, it's free ball. I mean, giving them the ball so they have, setter can do whatever he wants. He can, if he's first line, he can tip, he can have a quick attack, he can pipe, he can front and back. And with him tipping, it's 5 attackers, 50% of the time. And practically the whole practice, when the whole practice finished, I couldn't remember that one time the ball went down that somebody didn't touch it in defense or in blocking. And it was not because they were attacking badly, but they were on every ball. And that, for me, that's the high quality practice, which then when you find yourself with the opponent who is not so good as we were in the practice, then, you know, it will be much easier for them to score or to play volleyball. So yeah, the quality is really, really high.
A lot of players have said in the past about you, and I think it's confirmed now during the interview, that for you, the most important skill in volleyball is not attack, dig, setting, but choosing the best possible option in certain situation. Is it true?
Oh, yeah. of course. It's because, and then I like to play the all-around volleyball. All-around meaning we never know if the last ball will come from defense of the middle, or that this ball has to be set with not setter but opposite. And if you don't practice that, that ball will not come. That ball will not be set good. That ball will not be attacked good or defended good or whatever. So we have to be ready to adapt. We have to be ready to adapt to a situation that we are having on the court, because sometimes you are every game is different. Every game gives you some type of situation on which you have to react to. Meaning, we would say, okay, we go to serve on this guy, because up to that moment in the tournament, he was struggling with reception and he wasn't receiving good. So, okay, let's aim him and let's try to serve on him. But it happened that this guy was receiving really good and the other guy wasn't receiving so good. And then you have to adapt immediately. So you don't have like, we'll do it like after an hour. No. You see one set, this guy is receiving really well. Change. Let's go immediately on the other guy. And if you don't practice it, it's for me, it's easy to, I know what I want. I know, okay, let's do line 4. Let's jump here. Let's move. Let's read block. Let's move in defense. Let's do this and that. But then it's playing against those strong opponents. They are so good that they are able to change the tactic during the game. And if you cannot adapt yourself to the change of the tactic and say, serve here instead of serve there, or, okay, we stayed here, we prepared to stay here in defense, I want you now to stay here. We are closing the line, leave the line open, and then to do it. Because this is modern volleyball. Everything is really, really fast, and we have to work on everything, and then to choose the moment where to serve, what to set, where to set, how to attack, and then in the overall, all of those decisions, to have patience.
I have to ask about this. Was USA ready to adapt against us in the final? Because it seemed like for us, the spectators, they had one game plan to try to eliminate Lyon, which they started to manage to do in the second set. And you did a substitution which not many spectators were expecting with Tomek Fornal. And it seemed like after that, the US had no plan for the game.
There are some situations that happened during that game, and one of them was that because Leo played amazing first set. Mm-hmm. Then he started going in the difficulty. First of all, in reception, because as I knew and we know, USA is really good in putting a pressure on the target. Meaning, is if the target is in one, they will go all of them in one with variations, with the strong service, with the short service, whatever. And I was expecting that, especially in the reception, that he will go in the difficulty. He went in the difficulty also in Rotterdam against USA because they're a good team. They're one of the best in the world. Then obviously I think that the second good thing was also that ball for Kaczmarek behind is a little bit faster than the ball for Kurek. So when Marcin started to play fast behind with Zwierzu, they were moving all the time with the line 4. They were covering more middle and front of the net. And when he started opening up, they were flying. They couldn't stop him. So 1, 2, 3 things, and then if we can change so many things that we are capable of, or with change, or with adapting to the situation, it's not easy. It's not easy to play against. Okay, let's go on Leon, who is one of the best players in the world. So Leon goes out, and it goes in Forni, who will keep reception. The ball will come closer to the net, so we can use all options. We can go with primo tempo. We can go with pipe. We can go with different type of attack. And so on and so on and so on. So this is also to confirm what I said before. This is why it's great to have so many good players. Then they can go in and change the course of the game. Second thing, we also have to be aware of is that Russell was sick.
Yeah. He didn't play in the first games.
And he didn't play in first two games, and it wasn't easy for him to come back in the finals. And probably he wasn't still feeling 100%, but they played the finals, and he didn't start. And then in the end, in the fourth set, he took him out. But the point is that Russell is extremely important for USA team.
He played great quarterfinal.
Quarterfinal, and him and Anderson last year they played. Joshki wasn't playing, and the Falco was struggling. So him and Anderson attacked much more balls, and in the end, statistically, when I watched, those two guys attacked 76 times in 5 sets. 76 times they made one error. So they put so much of a quality to the game, and it's really hard to play against those things. But again, we managed to do it, and Forni was great in the finals because he didn't went with us to the Philippines. He played 2 games in Rotterdam, and then he came and didn't play quarterfinals, didn't play the semifinals, and he find himself ready for the finals, not being a starter, but go in and play good games. So this is something that it adds value to our team, and I just hope everybody understands that even though maybe you will not start the game, you will have your chance, maybe not that game, or that set, but maybe the next one. Or if you don't start, it's not like it's lack of my, trust in you, or that I don't think you are not good enough. It's just that for that type of opponent, I want to attack them more with this, because all of them have different characteristics. So, and then also they are really good players that everybody can play like a starter without any problem.
You mentioned 2 important things in that reply. First, Marcin, because he was playing.
Yeah.
The time you are a coach, he's playing most of the games, and I think he's fantastic in leading the game, and this is something what I remember you as a great in leading the game, changing the game plan during the game. He told us in the interview after the game that you knew that US will be ready for the medal primo tempo because last year during the World Cup you played a lot, so he started with Zwierzu. And is this something that you find yourself in, Marcin? Is the fact how he leads the game? And do you like to, I know that you speak with him a lot, but do you like to give him direct opinion or the idea before the game, or you give him free hand?
He has to have, he's a great player.
Yeah,
if
fantastic.
You watch what he won in the recent years, it's not like I had to take him by the hand and lead him to do this or do that. It doesn't mean that sometimes he's also, is not I won't say focused or not, but sometimes it's tough because you're playing against the team.
Last year, semi-final, you went to him after the game and he said you were good because I think he was a little bit stressed.
Of course he is, because we played the quarterfinals against the USA, where we played so much of in the middle of the court, so much primo tempo, because we had a good reception. And both of our middles were playing amazingly. And then the day after, or 2 days after, we play against Brazil. And when they watched our game, they are like, wow, they're attacking all the time through the middle. So they were jumping all the time.
all the time.
All the time they were jumping, and they were really helping. And in the end, Kohan finished with four points. And now I knew that this thing can go in the mind of the setter or any player. Like, well, how is this possible? Yesterday we were great in this, and then today it was. And I'm like, listen, don't think about that, because USA has their breakpoint system, and they are doing one thing regardless of how the opponent is playing. And you have to, and this thing, particular thing, tactical thing, is good for them. Then maybe that same thing against Brazil is not working, or maybe not working in that particular day. But what is important, we had different opponent, we had a different situation, and we managed to win. So be aware that we qualify for the finals of the World Championship, and you cannot do that if you don't struggle, if you don't have some difficulties, and you cannot qualify if you're not playing good volleyball. So I always try. Fortunately, I have a good I played and no, worked as a coach in the good clubs, and I work with the good setters. So I always try to give them pointers. I will always try to give them, oh, look, this guy is helping, and he's good in staying narrow and then opening up. This guy is, as soon as the ball is here, he's opening up, and not only against you, but against this guy. This is his characteristic. So when you're organizing the attack, you have to know that if you want to attack their line of the blockers, this guy is to avoid, this guy is to attack. So then he organizes what he thinks he should do. And then from time to time, if I see something that we are following also the statistics, and if he forgot sometimes to use some attacks, for example, he can forget to use a pipe, for example. So we would play good, but he wasn't using a pipe. And then when the 23-all comes, it's tough to, oh, I didn't play it for a set and a half now, and I would just remind you, listen, pipe is going good. So you might go with the pipe. I'm not saying, no, you have to do it now. I'm saying, look, this can be a good solution. That's one thing. Second thing, this guy is attacking great inside out, but he's not attacking in transition. So maybe leave him a few rotations when you have the ball in transition, and maybe go with the other solutions. Or this guy is killing in transition, so you go with him whenever chance you have. You just go there, even if he doesn't score. It doesn't matter. We have with him the best option. So this is type of communication that we have. But I avoid. I will never say, I would never say like, oh, I did this, you have to do it. That's absolute, because I played like 15 years ago. It was different volleyball. It was my characteristics as a setter was different than his. So I'm trying to help him out how by resolving the situation, okay, as I was doing it, but not in a way
you would
do this or do that. I would say this guy here is not helping. This guy is to be attacked in the middle. And then you call primo tempo whatever you want. You call pipe, you call set and then open up. This middle is following primo tempo. So if you call him near and then open up, he will not arrive. Or setter is opening,
you give him knowledge, and then,
because that for me, these were important informations. And then he will, because if I tell him sette is great, like primo tempo away from the setter, it's great. We have a great because this guy, they are not helping, and middle stays in the middle, but he doesn't feel safe to play that. I can say whatever I want. I know I'm right, but if he doesn't feel safe, no, let's find another solution.
He's on the pitch.
Let's find another solution. So if you want to do that, call primo tempo near and then open up and attack that. So I'm not forcing anything. I'm trying to help out and give them the tools to use it, and then obviously they will know it and will feel the situation, and then react to it. And by the way, he played a great volleyball in the finals.
Fantastic.
He really one of the best games in the national team since I'm the coach.
I think Christensen even came to him after the game and said something like that he deserved, probably.
Yeah.
Regardless of that, last two questions. We talked with Piotr Graban before in Gdańsk, and he said that you really pay attention to the training. But I would like to know your view on statistics, because you mentioned now statistics with USA last year quarter final. Some coaches pay super attention to statistics, some pay smaller one. What's your view on the statistic? It's another tool that helps you and the players?
It's a tool which must be used. It can give you pointers, it can give you suggestions, it can give you some indications, but I always like to control that on video, because statistically you can say we don't do this, or we are this guy here is having lots of blockouts. Okay, let me see it. Let's see why this statistic says that he has like 60% of blockouts, and it happened, for example, in one period that Slivka was having so many blockouts, and I'm like, but I know how he's blocking. He's always perfect when he's blocking for the outside. He's staying there, and the combination of these blockouts were, one, it was great attack, meaning they search really high, strong, and he was perfect with the block, but the attacker was so good, and like let's say out of 10 attacks, 3 or 4 were like he really did his best, but the attack was amazing. And the rest to arrive to take 60% was he tried to help with primo tempo. So when you try to help with primo tempo, you know, you react after, and it's and he will just touched a little bit the ball, but that finished in the statistics. And it's like, oh, come on, we cannot have this kind. It's you have to interpret the statistics in order to understand why that data is that. For example, now in this period, we were watching last year's statistics and this year's statistics. Like Italy is good in, let's say, blocking, kill block and touching and so on. Okay, let's see. Let me see why are statistically they are good, how they are, what they are doing, and let's see it. And then you can see why is that, why they are good in touching a lot. Why, first of all, they are really tall. All of them are tall. They don't have any small guy who is like Brazil has Honorato or I don't know.
Gianelli is very tall setter.
Gianelli is tall setter. Romano is. They have 2 position 4 who are really good, and they are getting many blocks one-on-one. So then we are trying to understand why and what they are doing that it's good, and then this is why we did in Zakopane. We modified the defense, we modified the blocking in order to become better, in order to, let's say, get better at doing it, and it was amazing. The last 2 practices were really, the ball couldn't go down because I mean, you would really have to attack, great attack, in order to put the ball on the ground. So coming back to the adaptation, you have to always to adapt. You always to learn where you can be better, and practice for me is the only way for you to work on those things. And then every time you don't do it, to remember, you have to move. So they will think about it, they will remember it, and then they will start doing it. And I think this period in Zakopane really helped us out to point out some things, and they did it really good. And the last thing is, for example, how I'm thinking and how I'm working is, we won the VNL, which is important tournament against the best teams in the world, and so on and so on and so on, and it's great. I'm not saying, but I don't want anybody to think now, oh, that's it, like we are gold. You know, we won the European Championships, we are qualifying with gold. I mean, come on. I mean, let's just see that these guys are better in reception than us. These guys are better in defense than us. These guys much better in blocking than us. We were doing this tournament. We were serving and attacking much better than we was throughout the whole VNL. Like if you watch our statistics throughout the group phase and then the finals, the jump that we had in the service is amazing. Like we had, for example, 11 point something index, and then only on the 3 games of the finals we had 14 point something.
3 points.
And it's 3 point difference, where it's, you know, statistically it doesn't seem much, but the best ones were around 13, for example, up to that point of everybody, and we had 14.2. So if we think like, oh, we are great, if we think like, oh, we are finished product, you know, we will not get anywhere. Okay. So we cannot like stay and be so satisfied with ourselves, and then you will get to play the finals or quarterfinals against Serbia, who didn't have half of the team, and who, by the way, is the only team we didn't beat this year. And then you get to play the quarterfinals, and they play their best. And if we are not the best, everything is possible. And then you don't even go to get the medal, and then it will be blow mind to somebody, you know, how it's possible. It is possible. It is. I'm not saying that it will occur. I'm not saying it will happen, but it's possible, because it's such a small difference between every team that I mentioned now is, and now they will have more time to prepare, and they will be full. Everybody will be there, so it will be really, really tough. And this is how I want also us to get prepared for what is in front of us. And I would like also everybody to understand that it's not like now we won this important tournament, we play good volleyball, and now that's it. We are the champions of everything from now on. I mean, we are among the best. We have the really strong team. We have a long bench and so on and so on and so on. But we have to be the best we can be every single day in practice in order to maintain that level, if not to increase it.
One last very short question. European Championship, some teams who are lower in the ranking, do you think that the change in how the ranking works will help all the teams to do their best against Poland? Because I remember in the past, sometimes they thought, okay, there is small chance against Poland, so we will focus on other games. Now, because of the ranking, they will concentrate more. And last question, what should we as fans and the whole volleyball environment in Poland wish your team?
First, I don't think when you go to play the game, it's not like you are thinking about the ranking.
Okay.
You know, I don't think that it's the thought on the field when you are playing, but it doesn't have any sense, because, for example, in Japan, we won 3 games against France, against Iran, and against Bulgaria. We won 3-2. And since we were better ranked team, we earned 0.5 points, or I don't know, 0.0 something. And then we lose against Serbia, who was 12th or I don't know, 9th, I don't know. And we lost 17 points. I mean, it's insane. So I have to, like, if I win, how many games I should win in order not to lose one, in order to stay just on the same level? So I have to beat like 76 teams in a row in order to get 5 points, and then you lose one game and you lose 17. I mean, it's. I don't know who was the scientist who invented this formula or solution, but it's not, well, for me. It's not good. It doesn't have any sense. And the second thing is, I said this last year, and I know maybe it's a lot. I know maybe it's. I'm not saying nobody should comment about how we are playing, but for example, last year it was. It happened one situation where. Some journalists and also comments on the social media and newspapers, online sites started to comment about who should play, or this guy shouldn't play, or that guy we should play, and so on and so on and so on. And that went in the head of our players. And I just want you to know that, first of all, me and my staff and all of us are doing our best to prepare these guys, to play the best we can, to win everything that is important and not important. And so the approach of us is the best we can have. It's not that every single time, every single one of them will play 100% or they will play their best volleyball, which doesn't mean that, like, the lack of will to do it. It's just that you go in the difficulty and then somebody else goes in, and this is what the teams is doing. And I would like you just to ask you to support these guys, because the easiest thing is to wait for somebody to play badly or not good volleyball and then to kill him behind the, the screen, keyboard, drinking beer or cappuccino, and it's easy. That's easy. Nobody know who you are, and you don't know what you don't know what problems we had, how many injuries or how many problems we had up to a point that we played the game. So And even though I'm asking them not to go and read the comments, it's impossible. I mean, they always go and always do it, and then they feel bad. I'm like, well, don't do that, man. I mean, just don't listen, don't read the guys who are negative, and you cannot see them anywhere. And then something bad happens, and there they are, you know, like a fungus after the rain. Like, this guy, come on, he shouldn't play. Or why did you put this guy in the list? Or why did you put that guy on the list? Because maybe he's a fan of that guy in the club, and he wants him to be in the 14, and so on, so on, so on. So
support and trust.
I would really like, as you said, very simple, just support the guys. They need it. They hear you because they are reading everything. So try to be supportive, because as I said, nobody wants more to be Olympic champion than them. So they will do everything they can to be the European champion, to be again VNL champion, to win everything, to qualify, and so on and so on and so on. So have trust and support the guys because they need it.
Thank you very much. It was podcast Szósty Set with Memorial Wagnera Foundation. We had the pleasure to host Coach Nikola Grbić. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.